How it's even possible to build a drone that costs less than a burger, unless it's made from mud and sticks. But apparently it is possible, somehow. And today we're gonna look at how exactly it's made, piece by piece. Short technical characteristics, so we just know what we are dealing with. First of all, it can fly, which is already an achievement for such a price. It can do it for up to 15 minutes on one battery charge. It also can film with its tiny 2-megapixel camera on board. Image quality is quite bad, to be honest, and it freezes sometimes, but still, for such a price. The drone is controlled with a joystick and its face looks like a baby shark, which is so sweet. It even has eyes. I didn't find any calibration function in the application that comes with the drone, so it was constantly tilting to one side, which created some accidents. But surprisingly, the drone survived all of them with dignity. So what's inside of this little fella and what makes it that cheap? The drone is fully modular. Battery comes from the back, camera module from the front and fastens with a latch. The camera is powered from the main board via connector. The main board, this green thing, is probably the most expensive part of the whole drone. It has a power button, 2 integrated circuits and some transistors on the other side. So it's a two-sided board. Battery connects by a 3-pin male to female connector. If I had to guess, I'd say this is a tilt sensor, some interface board between the sensor and the controller, and a quartz oscillator to have stable clocks for communication. The antenna, which is just a piece of wire that sticks out of the drone and gets signals from the controller. The main brain of the drone is here. It's probably a custom-made microcontroller, cause it's impossible to find its part number online. I even tried casually sniffing around different websites in different languages to find it, but I couldn't. However, guessing from its functionality and measuring some signals it sends, I can say it receives control signals from the remote and controls motors accordingly. It also receives commands from the camera through that yellow wire, which is a transceive wire for the SPI interface. So until the camera is connected successfully, the drone won't fly anywhere, which is a pity. We will come back to camera module a bit later. For now, let's look at motors. Probably the most important part of any drone. They are controlled with signals from the MCU through transistors. What do you think? What kind of motors are these? The motor case is held on with 2 plastic latches, cause it's just cheaper than using screws. The mechanism is looped a little bit inside. A little bit because every drop of oil costs money. By the number of wires you probably already guessed. It's a typical brushed motor. Here are the brushes, rotor and stator, which is a permanent magnet. Brushed motors are probably the cheapest out of all types. That's why they are used. Also, they are easy to control, and easy to control means cheap. You just apply DC voltage to them and that's it. Let's see how fast it can spin when overpowered. After using some of my brain cells, I realized that spinning blades at thousands of RPM near my skinny arms is probably not the best idea. My plant confirms that. So, being a pussy, I removed the blades and put some plastic protection, cause why not? And it spins quite fast. It was even a little bit scary, until it released some smoke and stopped working. I wonder why. Typical performance of a brushed motor. Can't even work with 3 times over voltage. Coming to the battery board. Interesting part here is the battery charger chip. The marking on it indicates that it's a linear lithium battery charger chip, which I assume is extremely widespread and commonly used in both industry and by hobbyists. There are actually different variations of this chip from different manufacturers, some of which can be quite expensive, but in this case it's clearly the cheapest option. Anyway, back to our little camera board. This board is also double layered, with some interesting circuits. One is an SPI interface chip to communicate with the main board, but another one is much more interesting. It is a high-performance microcontroller for artificial intelligence and Internet of Things applications. It has an external oscillator and connects to the phone through Wi-Fi to transfer image from the camera. Quite a complex circuit with different functionality based on Cortex-M4. So if you have absolutely nothing to do, go and read its extremely boring datasheet to find out how it works. We better look at this part, which should be a 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi antenna. But what is this black part in here? I'm not into radio electronics yet, but apparently this sleeve improves antenna performance. Matches impedance or improves radiation? Probably. If there are any RF engineers watching, please write it down in the comments what exactly it does, so we all know. Coming to a remote. It has all different buttons to control the drone. And you might think, wow, nice, it has 2 antennas.
Nice.
So the range must be amazing. Roll up your lip and don't always trust your eyes. Those are just 2 pieces of plastic with no purpose at all. I am actually quite surprised they added those, because that's extra money for no functionality at all. If you wonder how a joystick works, it's quite simple. There are just 2 potentiometers for X and Y axis. So when joystick is moved, voltage changes at the middle point of potentiometers. This change from a voltage divider you can easily measure. There are also a bunch of buttons and, again, some custom chip without any marking. Must say I'm really impressed with this drone for such a price. So, taking into account number of parts, how it's even possible to make it that cheap? First answer to that question is injection molding, which was used to make all the mechanical parts of this drone. Injection molding is a process that allows to automate production of thousands of parts per hour from one mold. The price per part in such case is extremely low as couple of cents is possible. Typically, injection molded parts have clearly visible spots where plastic injection channels were touching the part, like here, here and here. Obvious drawback is the initial cost of the mold, which has to be CNC machined from metal, usually aluminum. The mold can cost tens of thousands of dollars or even more, depending on mold complexity. Yeah, that's quite a lot. So it only makes sense when millions of parts are going to be produced with it. Another great way of reducing price of something is obviously scaling. When you build one prototype of something in your garage, it costs a lot. However, when million pieces are produced, it's completely different story and it is much cheaper. It also works when you buy components online. Buy one chip, it costs a lot. Buy a million, they cost practically nothing per piece. So for sure those drones are produced on an enormous scale to make them cost practically nothing. Another thing is obviously using cheapest components possible. For example, saving $1 on components and materials for a prototype you build at home means practically nothing. You just save $1. But saving $1 on a drone that's produced in a scale of millions, that's completely another story. That's already $1 million saved. Drone case parts are thin and light, which don't require lots of plastic. PCBs also are only one-sided when possible, cause it's way cheaper. So I have no idea why they added those antennas to the remote. It only adds cost, but not functionality. So would I recommend buying this drone? Only if you want to harvest some parts from it and reuse them, like the camera, for example, or the remote. Anyway, please like this video, subscribe so you don't miss future ones, and of course, watch my previous ones. They are extremely cool. Love you, bye.